Channel 5 Network, this is Morning Line with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Beres here on a wet and rapidly cooling Tuesday morning. Hey, just don't go out. Sit back, join in the conversation. You know, the key this morning is that we're going to try to help people. We'll open up the phone lines because we're talking Social Security. Now, even if you're not into it and don't need anything with Social Security, just stay with us because we're a magnetic group here and we are going to entertain you throughout the show with things that somewhere down the line you might find handy. But primarily the phone calls from those of you out there who maybe are dealing with SSI, disability, whether or not you're thinking, should you take Social Security early? All those types of things. Join us now for our friend, Josh Horn. There it is. He is from the administration. He's the big guy there. Yeah, he's been looking to find people to come and replace him on the show because he's got other busy things to do. And yet you keep coming back.
I can't stop.
This is not a bad gig, even for a big shot like you.
No, spending an hour with you guys and answering some of your questions and helping out, I love it. I mean, that's why I love working for Social Security, because I get to help people out, and this is another way that I can. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
You're exactly right, because it helps folks. And we've been doing this, as you well know. Before you came into this position, there have been several. Social Security, I think, was, I guess gracious enough, and we were good enough to work it out, that we've been having you on now from the administration for more than 2 decades, I think.
Yeah, it goes back quite a ways.
But I remember when we first started this, I was like, what? Social Security? I mean, and then I started realizing, and the phone lines will pick up hopefully today because they're open, so you're welcome to call. Who's going to get into this? And then as you understand, you listen, it affects everyone one way or the other, not just those of age.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun to ask questions, especially folks who are applying to work with Social Security. I say, well, what do you know about Social Security? And they always get this real sheepish look like, well, I have a Social Security card, and I think they take some money out of my check every time.
I was the same way.
And I just laugh because that's everybody who I talk to that really hasn't been touched by Social Security, either through disability or retirement or something. That's generally all they know. But no, we touch everybody from the time they're born, and we issue you a number until the time you pass away, and looking at survivor benefits and things like that, and then several times in between. So it is, and we touch everybody in America, every walks of life. So
eventually it all comes around, because you're right, most people are just what you described, and I'd be like that too, except that I've done the show and there's nothing wrong with it. Why would you know more about it? But eventually everyone, when they reach Social Security age, somehow they learn, all right, now it's time for me to apply for so sooner or later as you age, you learn about it because you have this money coming to you, right?
Right, yeah.
You think there's actually people out there that, how does this maybe believe, in this country who have paid Social Security benefits and for whatever reason haven't paid attention to it and are of retirement age and didn't even apply for it?
I don't know of any, because I know that they, everybody knows it's coming out of their check.
Do you get notified if you don't reach out? If I turn, it'll be 67 for me. When I retire, I can get full retirement.
Yeah, 67.
If I turn 67 and I just do nothing, don't reach out, would Social Security reach out to me and say I qualify for the benefit now? Or would I, if I did nothing, and I lived in a vacuum and no one was there to tell me, what do you think?
Yeah, generally there's a lot of public service announcements and media, things on media like this, but nothing that's going to go directly out. Now, the one thing that we do send letters out directly on, generally speaking, is we have folks that take survivor benefits, widows and widowers benefits, and they don't realize that their own benefits will continue to grow and earn delayed retirement credits until age 70. And so sometimes after age 70, we'll send a letter out that says, hey, we don't know if you know this, but your own benefits now actually are more than what you're drawing on your survivor benefits. And so sometimes you'll see there'll be letters out like that, and folks will switch over and get a little bit more on their own record, or vice versa.
Yeah, other than that though, I guess everyone comes around. It's money, whether you think you need it or not, it's yours. Go for it. All right, so we've got calls coming in. The number is 737-7587. Jump in because it gets busier later in the show. Just before we get to those, it's our first segment. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on? Sometimes Josh brings some new announcements with him.
Yeah, and I would like to announce that we continue to add programs and things to our online services under socialsecurity.gov, and the latest one that came is called My Wage Reporting. And so if you're a Social Security disability beneficiary and you are going to try to go back to work, of course you want to make sure and report those wages to us so that you don't get overpaid and your benefits we don't have problems with your benefits. And before, your only options really were to either write us a letter or call. And now you can actually go on your My Social Security account and report those wages through the internet, and that comes right over to our systems, and we're able to address it, assess it, make sure that you're not getting overpaid and so forth. So that's a new feature that's I think going to help some of you out there who might be trying to go back to work even though you're while you're drawing disability.
That's great. That's great. And real quick, the cost of living increase, we talked about it each show you come on. When does that kick in? I mean, when people notice it in their checks?
We'll see that in their checks in January, and it's a 2% increase this year. I don't believe we know anything yet about the Medicare side of it. That's still out there. But as far as the benefits and the Social Security cost of living and SSI cost of living, will be 2%.
Okay. Yeah, and people are like 2%. That's not enough. It's better than nothing, because there have been some years where there's been nothing. But 2%, and it'll be coming your way. So no one needs to ask, was there a cost of living increase? Yes, this year. A whopping 2%. All right, let's take a call maybe before we go to the first break, and we'll go to Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How can we help you?
I have a question. I know you were talking about Social Security, and I know you said something about SSI and stuff like that. Well, I just have the question. I had a brain tumor in February. I still have remnants of it. I've went through treatments. I also have COPD, and I'm just wondering how I can get turned down when people that don't really have much of nothing wrong can get approved.
So
I've been turned down 3 times, and I'm still in this shape.
Well, have they told you anything? I always wonder if they ask why. Or was there any feedback when you said, did they give you any indication, or they just turn you down, you have no idea?
Well, they just turned me down and said my COPD wasn't bad enough. Okay, it's not bad enough, but I take medicine every day to breathe. I take nebulizer treatments. I take everything. I finished radiation for a brain tumor, which like I said, I still have some, because it was either take it all out and I die, or just take what they could.
Sure. And by the way, real quick, I'll let Josh answer. Do you do this on your own, or do you have a lawyer with you helping you?
The first 2 times I did it on my own. The third time I did it with a lawyer, and they still turned me down. Okay,
wow, she's doing it the right way. All right, what do you recommend for her?
Yeah, and that's challenging, and stick with it like we've said before. If you've got appeal right, if you do have appeal rights, make sure you stick with your with the appeal rights, and you've got to do that within 60 days. There's a couple of things I'll mention. One is when you are denied, you do have that. It's a personal denial notice that tries to spell out exactly what they were looking at. If there was some medical records specifically that indicated that you weren't able to draw or something along those lines. But I also remind everybody that the Social Security definition of disability is very, very, very strict. It has to be expected to last a year or longer, and it has to be 100% disabled, not 90%, not 95%, not 80%. And those 2 factors are very, very tough, because if you have a very, very serious, 100%, no doubt, debilitating condition, but it's only expected to last for 6 to 9 months, and I know one that comes up sometimes along those lines would be stroke, it's not going to qualify, because it's not going to last for a year or longer. Now, a lot of times when you get to the judge's level or the hearing level, it already has lasted. Either proved us wrong, or we're able to see without a doubt that it actually did last a year or longer. And so some of those factors a lot of times play into very serious conditions.
All right, yeah, so she could worsen. The key on this is don't give up. I have to say, though, she's done it twice on her own. She has a lawyer now, so I'm thinking the issue here is not, oh, you haven't gotten the right paperwork in. I think it's that she has not reached the criteria yet for 100% disability. So for whatever reason, and I hear what you're saying, Julia, you hear of other people, you see other folks, and you're wondering, how are they disabled and I'm not? And remember, you can't always tell if someone's disabled by looking at them. But don't give up. Don't give up and stick with it. And if and when you finally do get it, you'll get retroactive pay as well. Question is, what does she live on now while she goes through this process? So I really sympathize with her, but stick with it and listen to what your lawyer tells you. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, more of your calls for Josh Horn right after this.